Hello there, I'm the creator of Fred80, which is a fantasy console which has been developed for the Mac, Windows, and this very unusual abbreviation which you might not be familiar with. So what this is the Apollo 6000 computer, and it is basically like a iteration of the Amiga. So the Amiga was a very famous 16-bit computer from the 1980s and 90s. And it was a very amazing computer for its day, well beyond its peers, actually. Many a great game and many a great developer used the Amiga computer. Fantastic platform. So Fred80 is optimized for the hardware of these newer accelerated versions of the Amiga. So yeah, it really is optimized for the hardware, the graphics chips, the FPU, the CPU. All is pretty closely knit to get as best performance out of the hardware as possible. But this also feeds back to the Windows and Mac's version in that they're very optimized generally. So what is Fred80? So Fred80 is as I said, like something that you can create games with on these platforms. So if you grew up with the Amiga, for example, you might have had a package called Amos, which is very similar, where you could code, create sprites and whatnot, and create your own games, ideal for bedroom coders and stuff. So this is a kind of a reimagining of that. And what you have is the home tab where you can see the games that you've made. You have a coding tab where you code your games. There is a sprites tab where you can draw all of your sprites. A maps tab where you can create your maps. Tommy is like the sound module. So Fred comes from my son Fred, and Tommy is my other son. So I thought it was fun just to call that after that. And there's a shell here where you can, with a very nice kind of look and feel, where you can do some different operations and whatnot. Yeah. So if you look at the games, you can develop in Lua, which is a programming language, and there's line numbers up the side to help you see how big your file is getting. You can navigate it by using Shift to jump through the lines, so you can navigate more easier. And let's just run this for fun, see what it is. So rotating gummy bear, which is kind of work in progress. Yeah. So yeah, so you're able to use this IDE code editor. So here, you can shift down for faster navigation. If you want to create sprites, you have the sprites tab here. So let's maybe create a new sprite. So let's maybe create a person, right? So every person starts off as a blob, I suppose, right? So fill the blob, yeah. Maybe then you'd have a rectangle, perhaps. Maybe green, right? Yeah, like that. Very high trousers, yeah. You might want to fill that. Let's do a line here. So let's make his trousers a bit darker. Yep, like that. You can fill like that. And yeah, so maybe a red t-shirt. It's another rect. Yeah, fill. You can also fill the rects as well, like that. And yeah, so this is a very bulky person, but you get the gist, right? So maybe some arms. Yeah. And of course some angry eyes. Yeah. And a mouth of some description. There you go. And maybe some hair. Looks like my father-in-law. Okay, yep. So that's done, yeah. So then you also, like, say for instance, you want to create a map. Yeah, you can then like do things like you can fill your map. Maybe you want to draw a bit of grass. Yeah. So the number one. Let's go back here. You can use the eye tool, and you can fill. Do some more different sorts of grass. Everyone likes grass. And go to the map. Then you can fill with grass, and then maybe paint some other sorts of grass. Yeah. So this is how you build your kind of world. And then you can have different like maps. Oops. It's 8 there. And this is the sound editor, so you can choose different sounds. I guess noise just sounds the same everywhere. And then so you can change the notes. As you can see, I'm not very musically inclined, so I will stop that. Then there's this, so this can be imported into the game directly. Then there's a shell, so you can CD, you can do ls, you can do help. I was going to include inspirational quotes, but I thought that might be over the top. You can glean, you can bring images into Fred80. You might want that for kind of maybe loading art or backgrounds. You can glean sprites. What that basically means, when you glean a sprite, you maybe have created a sprite sheet in a sprite or a separate external sprite thing, and when you import it, it will populate into these 16 by 16 slots here. And then you can bake in these WAV or sound files, so that's seamlessly able to work on the original hardware as well as your Windows and Mac platforms. Yeah. So yeah, that's a quick brief tour of the main aspects of Fred80. You can export Fred80 games to Mac, Windows, or the Apollo platform. What that means is that it packages up your game. So say for instance that you have like a basic game like this one, which is Asteroids. Yeah. Say that the person that you're sharing with doesn't have Fred80. They'll be able to still run it, yeah, because it comes packed with a lightweight Fred80 runner, and then you would be able to kind of package the games for different platforms. So you could put them on itch.io or Steam, for example, and they would just run, sort of thing, yeah. Whatever thing is worth demonstrating. There is like a 3D module, yeah, where you can make some cool 3D effects. This is demonstrated here. So not only is Fred80 able to make pretty decent 2D games, but you'd be able to kind of recreate these kind of golden era of video games from the 90s with this kind of 3D modules, which is unlike any fantasy console I'm aware of at the moment, sort of thing. So yeah, that's pretty special. It's still work in progress though, and the API I'm working on is being kind of worked out, And but the 3D is kind of like highly optimized to run on the original hardware as well. You can also, with any game that you produce this kind of cart artwork. So for instance, like this one has this artwork which I created. Yeah, so there's a lot going on with this Fred80. There's a lot of improvements happening. There's a lot of like bug fixes, optimizations, developer experience improvements. So yeah, like it's kind of work in progress. This is like a typical 2D game that you'd be able to make with like effects like tweening, particle effects. I'm really no good at this game. Oh my goodness. Oh. So yeah, there's some built-in physics. So say for instance that you created this game and you wanted to sell it on itch.io, for example, you would just export it to whatever platform. So you code once for 3 different platforms and then you can export it to those 3 different platforms. So yeah, that's a pretty amazing thing. My goodness. So what you see there is like Bezier curves that you can define for the different patterns that come in. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm not very good at this game. So there you go, that's a kind of demonstration of the type of game that you can make. This is another one which I've been fiddling around with. The music on this one's a bit annoying, so I might cut it short. So, yeah, I'm not really a musician, so apologies. So you can see the map as the background, the sprites, the type of sprites that you can make. I think the zombie one is pretty good. Pickups. The large skeleton there is like sprite scaling. So we're using sprites. So you can get quite a lot of sprites on the screen at once. Oh my goodness. Yeah, anyway. So that's the type of thing that you can do with Fred80. So I'm not really a games developer, so in the hands of like somebody that knows what they're doing, I'm sure that we'll be able to make amazing things with Fred80. So yeah, feel free to visit my website, which is go here. Help. Oh, I should really put it in my help thing, right? But anyway, like so go to fred80.dev. And there on my website, you'll have all of the APIs that you can use with Fred80, examples which you can type in. They all work. So a lot of the ones that you see here use some of the similar things on the website. And go to my itch.io website. Just search for Fred80. I'm sure you'll be able to find it if you're interested in finding out more details. So yeah, that's a quick tour of Fred80. I hope you liked it, and yeah, just put in the comments below like what you'd like to see more of in Fred80, or what amazing games that you're coming up with. And yeah, thanks for watching.